Hey guys, welcome back to Sinclair Garage, and today we're going to work on the wife's car a little bit. As you can see on the back tailgate of a Yukon, it's really dirty. But right here, this trim piece has rubbed through the paint. I'll give it a little better look once I get it tore apart. So I'm going to tear it apart, clean it, and then I'll show you guys exactly what it looks like with everything kind of apart. So I just have to take the inside door panel off, and then I'll take off that little trim piece and we'll go from there. Basically, I went to Body Shop to check about having it fixed, and they wanted like $500 to paint because we'll have to spot it and paint it. And I don't know if that's worth putting, I mean, the car is well worth putting $500 into, but they had said that when they fix these issues in the past, they just keep coming back. So what I had thought about doing is fixing it. I'm gonna do a cool little touch-up paint trick. And if you look, this is just rubber matting. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that trim piece off, obviously, set it on rubber matting, cut out a little, almost like a gasket that's super thin, and I'll put it all back together with that gasket, and I'm hoping that that'll keep that from coming back. So I'm gonna get to tearing this thing apart, and then I'll be back. All right guys, I'm gonna give you an update of where I am now. So obviously I got the inside panels taken off, got the outside panels taken off, and I kind of cleaned up the back of this thing. And the spots I'm talking about are right there. There's one on the other side, right there. There's a few little spots on the inside. Basically that's where that applique kind of pops and sits there. That holds like the rear view camera, license plate lights, and also the popper for the rear window. So I got all cleaned up. This thing's disgusting. I clay barred the whole rear, and now I'm going to touch it up. So here we go. Okay, as you can see, we're chopping along at it. One touch-up spot, the other one's over there. Now, I know this isn't going to be a perfect fix, and I'm by no means a paint and body guy. But what I did is, obviously I cleaned it off. It needs clay barred, so I clay barred it while I had everything back here. Got it as clean as I could. And then took some 600, let me double check for you. I took some 600 grit just to knock off the edges because the paint was kind of lifting. So I took my fingernail and kind of played around a little bit just to get all the loose stuff off. And I took 600, cleaned around with the 600 very lightly, obviously. I don't want to blow through anything. All I'm going to have to do is polish later. And then I took 1500 and finished off cleaning around the outside of it. And then I put paint on. I put 3 coats of touch-up paint. Right there. And the camera makes it look a lot darker. I think it's because maybe it's still a little wet. The camera makes it look a lot darker than it actually does in the car. And more than likely you're not going to see all but maybe a 1/16 inch of it. So to me that wasn't worth taking it and having it stripped and repainted for 500 plus bucks. So, but I didn't want this to start rusting. So got it cleaned up. So the timeline again is pulled it all apart, washed it, clay barred it. I degreased it with some wax and degreaser. I hit it with 600 grit very lightly, 1500 grit, and then now I'm painting it. Now I put 3 coats of paint on, and then I took the 1500 grit and just kind of knocked all the hot spots down, and then I put another coat on now. So this is technically 4 coats. The touch-up paint for this vehicle, excuse me, has like a piece of rough paper. This is supposed to be like what you rough it up with, paint, and then clear coat on the bottom. This is just the AC Delco. I bought this at the GM garage. There's no paint dealer, no paint place. I tried to get it like kind of like a mix, but no one around here would mix that and touch up. They had to get a quart or something. It was outrageously expensive, so it wasn't worth it. So anyhow, that's why the dealer paints never really match 100% anyway. That's why I don't like using them unless I have to. So anyhow, wait on that to dry. It's drying now. Once it's done, I'll look at it. I might hit it 1500 again to see if I need to hit any low spots before I put the clear coat on it. So that's where we are. Just figure I'd give you an update, and I'll be back to show you when this is done. Alright guys, basically done. Wasn't a whole lot of video to shoot just because there wasn't a lot of anything exciting, and I didn't want to just like time lapse it for a couple hours. So as you can see, you can kind of see it there, the dark spot. It's a little bit darker than the paint. I mean, touch of paint never matches. A little bit darker. You won't see all but maybe a 1/16 of an inch of it. My goal was just to get it the bare metal, primer, paint, and put a little clear coat over it to keep from rusting, since we do drive this thing in the winter. So turned out good. I went ahead and polished it. I 1500 grit, sandpapered it, and then I used some Chemical Guys V34, and then did some polish over, and that basically filled in all the scratches, and then I'm done. So as you can see, the back of this car looks pretty good. I'm by no means a paint or detail guy, but as you can see, that's a pretty good reflection. I still got to put that piece back on, so once that's back on, I'll just kind of show you the final product. But now I'm going to actually wash the whole thing because it's filthy. So I'll just come back with a finishing picture with everything put back together. Alright guys, I'm going to try and show you how I'm fixing this rear panel piece here. As you can see, this is the rear license plate, light, backup camera piece, right? These corners here are the ones that rub through the paint. Then the rest of this just held debris because it's just the plastic on metal. What I'm doing is taking this ultra black gasket maker. This is pretty good stuff, pretty tough once you get it on. And I took tape. As you can see, I just kind of lined it along the edge here where this mount, pushes against the back of the tailgate. It's bolted to it, and you can see on this top side I'm already done, but I took tape on the outside to keep me from smearing it all over the painted part. And I'm just basically making myself a little bit of a rubber gasket here, so when I bolt this back up, it shouldn't rub through. And as you can see from the top side, it's practically unnoticeable, but I'm hoping that it's just enough to give me a little bit of cushion to keep these edges from busting through again. So that's how I'm fixing it. Just figured I'd give you guys a bit of an update. I'm going to finish this up. Alright guys, day 2. I'm working on this Yukon. As you can see, these screws, there's 4 of them, hold this, I don't know how you say it, applique or whatever, onto the rear tailgate. Basically, as you see this, it has the backup camera and the 2 license lights. So I mentioned that when I took it apart, I had an issue because I had Loctited these bolts. Here's a little nuts that go on them. They Loctited them, so when the bolts are on there, the plastic's not strong enough to hold the bolt securely, right, when you're trying to back it off. So what happened is I spun them all out and I broke that little piece where the bolts go into. They just kind of slide in. Kind of looks like a U, and the bolts slide into it. So, excuse me. I went to Home Depot. If I can find it here. Oh, there it is. I bought some of this JB Weld plastic bonder. And it says, great for plastic to metal. So I just kind of slopped it on here rather neatly. Obviously you're not going to see it. So I slopped that stuff on there, let her dry for a little while I go cut grass, and hopefully that's enough. Now I went and I ran the bolts, the nuts on and off the bolts multiple times so they're nice and smooth. That way when I go to put this thing back on, obviously I don't want them to just twist right back out of the plastic. So I'm hoping that by doing that, it'll keep them nice and make it nice and smooth getting them on. Working on getting this back together. I'll kind of show you, it's a little bit dark, but you can see the screw holes. There. Right there. Right there. There's one. You can't see, but it's back behind that window regulator, or the window wiper motor. Probably can't see me either. So we're gonna get this thing back together, put the trim pieces back on, and then once daylight hits, I'll give you a little better look of what it looks like finished, but getting wrapped up. All right, guys, I'm officially done with the Yukon paint fix. Here it is. You can kind of see, like right there, the color difference. It's a bit darker, the touch-up paint is. And then you can kind of see the gasket I made that goes around. There it is. So that's my fix versus going through and having it all painted. I don't think it's worth having it painted for the issue that it was. I'm satisfied, so that's what we're going to keep. I don't think we'll have the issue again because the touch-up paint came with clear. So like I said, I sanded it. Everything looks good. It's pretty level, so I'm pretty happy with it. So we're going to go with it. If it ever rusts or something, I'll have it painted, but I really don't suspect that's ever going to happen at this point. The thing only has like 22,000 miles on it, so I'm actually kind of surprised it was that bad already. I mean, it is a 2011, but only 22 or 23,000 miles, something like that. So, but anywho, it's done. So that is how I fixed it. If you have any questions, comments, leave it below. See you guys.